Hello everybody, it's Numerologist Michelle Buchanan here with your numerology forecast for 2023. It's very, very important that you listen to this entire introduction for the universal year number 2023, which is a 7 universal year number that influences every single one of us. And this 7 universal year number is the undercurrent. It's the undertow, the governing vibration and energy around every single one of us on the planet today. And it sets the undertow for what we will also be experiencing individually with our own individual personal year numbers that are blending alongside this 7 universal year number. So it's important that you really listen to this introduction because this 7 universal year for 2023 is extremely important and extremely significant. And the more that you are aware of what energy is around you and what this year represents, and you harmonize with that, you work in harmony and in alignment with that natural flow of energy, you can help this year to be the best year it can possibly be. And it's a very important year where we can come in terms of our own personal and inner development, leaps and bounds. Like it's such an important year what can happen this year for all of us and for the planet itself. So 2023, this universal year number that is influencing every single one of us, is a much slower vibration. And the reason it is a slower energy, so that doesn't mean that time is not speeding up as it is. The time will continue to speed up every day, every year, every month on the planet in general. So it's not about the ticking of the seconds on the clock and how fast they are. It's about the pace of energy of how we are feeling and how it's influencing our life as we move through the time that we're in. And so it's about sinking into a slower, more gradual energy that is gathering momentum as we move through this year. The reason it's a slower pace internally is because we need that time, that quiet, that space to process and digest the aha moments and the information that we are going to be gathering this year, because this is a really significant year of truth. A year where a lot of truth is going to be exposed, a lot of understanding, a lot of awareness. A lot of people are going to be having awakenings. A lot of people are going to be receiving information that is so foreign to them that they didn't see coming, they didn't realize was happening. And a lot of doors are going to open. It's like the light is going to shine on some of the shadows and some of the dark corners of the world. And truth will come to the surface that will then give people, a lot of people, a different level of awareness, because now there's information exposed that they weren't aware of before. And not only that, but our own individual truths will be exposed for many of us individually this year. Personal truths. Things such as areas that we haven't looked at within our own sort of triggers or behavioral patterns, or areas in need of improvement that we may have swept under the carpet and hidden in the shadows in the past, will now have light shining on it so that we can be aware of it more. It can be more consciously aware to us, and we're no longer going to be sweeping it under the carpet. We're going to bring our own individual issues and areas in need of development and work and need to be looked at into the light, so that we're aware and we can start working on them and start improving ourselves from the inside out. And this year is encouraging us to do that, because the awesome thing about the 7 universal year, or even those who are in a 7 personal year, or any time we're in a 7 cycle, whether it's the 7 universal year, the 7 personal year, a 7 personal month, or a 7 universal month, or a 7 major life cycle number, or a 7 pinnacle, because there are many forecasting numbers in a numerology chart. But wherever there's a 7, it's saying the truth is coming out, and it's a really cool thing, because when we know what's really going on, we're aware of the game that we're playing, and we can make better moves. And so this 7 energy is giving us an opportunity to bring things to the surface so that we can improve things and improve ourselves and our quality of life and our life circumstances tremendously, and we can move forward into a higher frequency and attract better things. So there's so many good things about this energy that we're in. Although some people may be a bit annoyed, because I know there are people out there that are solely locked in and obsessed with the material world and all about, I want to go out there and smash it up and make a ton of money and be successful and be a somebody. And the 7 energy is kind of moving us away from that, because the 7 energy is saying, enough with the superficial bullshit. Whatever it is that you've been hiding behind and the mask that you're putting on to present whatever you're trying to present to the world, or whatever you're putting a lot of energy into, if it lacks substance, if it's superficial BS, then that may trigger some issues for some people, because there may be things happening that will enable people the lesson, or provide the lesson for certain people to start detaching and letting go of those superficial pillars that are holding them up, because their life is based on a fault line. It's not real. It's an illusion. If it's superficial pillars that you're holding on to create happiness, or or perceived happiness, or if your life's built on a fault line of illusion or unhealthy habits, then they may come to the surface to be looked at this year. So the first thing you need to know about this year is it's about slowing down and trusting in the cycles of life and following your intuition, because here's the thing. This is a year of going within, and the more work you do on the inside, the more work you do on your inner life, the better your outer world will be in the physical world outside of you. So the more work you do from within, the better things are for you outside in the physical moving forward, especially from next year on. So it's like this year is a really powerful year in preparation for our massive manifestation year of 8 in 2024. So the first thing, the slow year, this gradual energy, it's where we need to create time, space, and silence in our lives and around us. We need that time, space, and silence to contemplate and process and digest information that will be coming to us, so that we're aware of what's going on in our own personal selves with our own lives, and aware what's going on a deeper level and a more honest, transparent level globally on the planet. And that can be in the area of politics, in the area of some of the corporations that run the world, in the area of governments, in the area of the health system, in the area of all kinds of things where the light will shine in some of the shadows and certain truths will be exposed. This is a time of major global transition where the planet itself is going through a massive shift, okay? And because the planet's going onto this massive shift and encouraging us to look at ourselves and view ourselves in life and our life and life in general from that higher conscious awareness, from our higher self looking down, then what will happen is we will be forced into situations where we cannot deny things any longer, where we will have to examine and reevaluate our deepest, real, genuine needs and values. What's really important? We're going to ask the big questions. Who am I? What's the meaning of life? What do I need to feel happy? And discover the real answers, moving away from that superficial, lower self-existence and moving into the higher awareness and having values that are really important, such as only love is real, such as people and relationships are real, being of service and helping another is real, being your true, honest, authentic self and not giving a shit when anyone else thinks is real. All right, your connection to source energy is real. It should be your number one priority. And that's another thing that the 7 year is all about. Okay, the 7 year is saying create a spiritual foundation. That is what's going to help you through the truths that are going to be exposed. Because what will happen is certain truths will be exposed and some people will be quite shocked, quite angry, quite upset. And some truths are going to be amazing, good truths too. And there's going to be so much excitement and so much love to know we're not alone and we're all connected and we're all one and everything is energy and we can change this world and make things a better place. And we can work together as a community and as teams and we can come together and help heal each other. and make this world a better place. But with some of the truths that have been quite shocking for some people, one of the things that's really going to help people to process things and move through some of these challenging times to come more easily and more effectively and more quickly is to have a strong, powerful, spiritual foundation. A very strong spiritual foundation is the key to everything, not only this year, but in general. So the 7 is encouraging us to find a spiritual faith, to start believing in something bigger than yourself, even though you have no evidence of what it is. Now, the name or the title of what it is irrelevant. It's just starting to explore. For some of you are already on that path. You wouldn't even be listening to me now if you weren't already a little bit aware or a bit open or have a spiritual practice already. But it's about deepening it this year. It's about expanding upon it. It's about strengthening it. And for those that are new to this path, it's about being open to believing in something else, that higher wisdom that links into your own inner knowing. And so many people this year are going to have a lot of aha moments, a lot of realizations, a lot of, oh my God, I finally get it now. The penny has finally dropped. Whether that aha moment is about a behavioral pattern that you've identified within yourself that you didn't realize was there before, or whether it's a certain truth that you've discovered about yourself that you don't really trust yourself, and now you realize that and you're going to start backing yourself up, or whether it's to do with sort of looking at other people and seeing their truth that you realize isn't quite your truth, or whatever it is. But the spiritual foundation being the key this year, ways that you can build on that spiritual foundation or create it in the first place, as I recommend in the 7 year, you gather knowledge and wisdom, reading books. You can Google top 50 personal development books or top 50 best-selling spiritual books of all time, and you'll find a lot of Hay House titles there. You'll find Eckhart Tolle there. You'll find Dr. Wayne Dyer. You'll find Marianne Williamson, Carolyn Mace. You'll find books on the Law of Attraction. You'll find books in Dan Millman, The Life You Were Born to Live. You're going to find books like Dr. Michael Newton's Journey of Souls. You're going to find books like A Course in Miracles. You're going to discover so much information. So start by Googling, reading, audiobooks, watching videos on YouTube, watching Gaia TV instead of Netflix. You're going to find books. People will recommend books to you. You'll have conversations with people. You may do some online classes. It's definitely a time of studying and learning this year. And that studying and learning isn't necessarily only personal development and spirituality, studying and learning in general. So this is also a year to become a specialist in your craft, to build upon your existing knowledge, to acquire more knowledge and wisdom so you can expand, okay? It's about, health and well-being this year. A very, very strong strong focus on our health and well-being. So there is balancing the conventional medicine with the holistic and the alternative medicine. A lot of people looking at alternative ways to heal themselves, to keep themselves in a healthy space. There will be people where health issues will surface, and therefore they'll be forced to look at ways to heal themselves. Obviously, you've got your typical looking at diet and looking at detoxing, exercise regimes. Some people may take on exercise programs or nutrition. Other people, it's a great time to focus on mental health and well-being, discovering some really powerful mental health practices like mindfulness, breathwork, meditation, EFT tapping, to help release anxiety, looking at other alternative metaphysical things, numerology, astrology, some of the sacred spiritual sciences, so that you can help to have deeper self-analysis, self-examination, and preparation for self-improvement. Your future success, remember, depends on the inner work you do this year. So go deep, look at yourself and really examine yourself. Work out what triggers you. Have a look at what behavioral patterns and limiting beliefs you're still carrying around. What else can I tell you? Studying and learning, developing, becoming a specialist at your craft. Also, this is a time to really start to learn how to follow your intuition. All right, listening to that inner guidance, that feeling of something doesn't feel right, or how do I feel about this, and asking yourself those questions instead of just automatically following the leader and doing what everyone does, or just doing what your mind tells you. Take a time to pause. Remember, this energy this year is asking you to slow down, go within, see how you feel about things before you automatically jump in and act. All right, slow down, notice, examine what's going on around you. All right, now trust, have faith in something bigger than yourself with your spiritual belief. Prayer, examining what you believe, studying the angels, the angelic realm, the ascended masters such as Master Healer Jesus, who was a real ascended master being. Nothing to do with organized religion, only to do with a pure, enlightened Christ consciousness, ascended masters and beings such as Saint Germain, the mighty violet consuming flame, discovering your mighty I am presence. You might discover mantras, you might discover healing and Reiki. Like, everyone's going to be on a different path. Some people will never be on this path, and that's totally fine. That's just where they're at. But if you're on that path, go further down the rabbit hole on that path, because that strong spiritual foundation is going to keep you stable through all of the crazy shit that could come out in this world, because we are going through a massive shift. So in order for the planet to shift into this higher frequency, we need to break down some of those outworn old systems, the corruption, the manipulation, the darkness, the lies, all the bullshit. We've got to kick that out. We've got to get that out. But in order for us to get it out, we need to expose it first. And this is an ongoing process that may take many years, but we're in it, and how are we going to get through it quicker and easier without losing our shit, without lowering our vibration, because we need to be in a high vibration as consistently as possible. And how we get into a high vibration, because our energy vibration that governs our valuable life force energy is governed by our thoughts and our emotions on a daily basis. So we need to make sure that our thoughts and our emotions on a daily basis are in a high vibration. And any emotion that stems from the bottom line, contentment, satisfied, comfortable, that's the bottom line for a high vibration emotion. Is comfortable, satisfied, cruising along. Anything from the baseline of there up to I feel great. Oh my God, I'm so grateful. I'm so appreciative. I'm so happy. I'm in joy. I'm in love. I feel connected. I feel the oneness around me. I feel safe. I feel connected. I feel optimistic. I'm trusting life. I feel loved. I am love. I am light. I feel great. That's high vibration. Anywhere between, oh my God, I'm bouncing off the ceilings, love and light, to I'm satisfied, I'm comfortable, I'm just cruising along. That's all high vibration in that space. Anything below the line of satisfied and comfortable and cruising along, you're cruising into the lower vibration territory. And so the trick is, when certain truths are exposed, when you're going through some personal challenges, when things may be challenging with the economic system and world politics and things that are playing out in the world stage, the bullshit that you kind of have no control over as just the individual that you are, you maintain a high vibration by having a strong spiritual foundation and a strong foundation of personal development within your own personal self. And that's why it's so important, because that's your key to moving through the crazy. All right? So I'm sure I've made that quite clear. So this is also a time where trust and comes up. And it's about, first of all, looking at your own relationship with yourself. Do you really trust yourself? What do you need to do to trust yourself? What do you need to do to believe in yourself? The question of faith comes up. Do you have faith in fear and all the madness and the darkness, or do you have faith in our ability to be able to create our own reality? You need to develop the faith and belief that you are a creative being and you create your own timeline. You create your own reality. Regardless of what's going on outside of you and around you, you need to believe that you have control over your version of that and what will influence your life based on what you are projecting out. And so you can almost say, whatever's going on outside of me, whatever's going out in the world, I choose to believe I am safe. I choose to believe that I can always make the right decision. I choose to believe that solutions will come. I choose to believe that I can make ends meet. But here's the thing. In the meantime, lower your expectations. We have become so spoiled in this Western world that everyone's so afraid of losing all their stuff. Oh, I want to have the life and maintain that comfortable, wonderful lifestyle that I've had all of the time. And I just want money, 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 and more, and more glamour, more luxury. Make peace with having less, and you won't be so afraid of losing what you've got, for God's sake. We're so bloody spoiled in this Western world. Make peace with the thought of having less, and be grateful for the small things. Be grateful and appreciative for anything as simple as the beauty in nature. This is what the 7 year is encouraging us to do. Get back to basics. Work with nature. Have an appreciation for nature. Connect with the land. Get back to the indigenous ways of living and believing and knowing that we are all one. It's about the reality and getting back to the real and what is truth, as opposed to the superficial bullshit of the material world. Now, you can be in that material world and live in it, but not be of it. All right, because we are spiritual beings here, having a human experience, and this is what the 7 is trying to dig into us, to get that through our thick skulls, that there's so much more going on. Because the more that we know what we really are and what's really going on here, and we start living that truth, our vibration goes through the roof, and miracles can happen, even in crazy ass times and crazy economic times and crazy times of health. Threats of crazy health situations and all sorts of madness. You will still hold your equilibrium in your center, and you will create miracles, because we are not alone. We are not alone here. We have a galactic family. We have energy of the highest source of love and light, Christ consciousness energy. We are that love and light, Christ consciousness energy seeping through every cell of our being. And when we know that and we connect with that and we live that truth, magic happens. It's all around us. All right. And you need to know that, because it's really important. It's really important this year. That's what's going to help you get through what's to come. So here we go. Wisdom and knowledge. Gain as much wisdom as you can. All right. Understand the universal laws. Understand the law of attraction. Understand the creative process and the manifestation process, and how this works and how we are wired as human beings. All right. When you develop the conscious understanding of what's going on around you, what you are and what's going on in the world, and you create that conscious awareness, you raise your vibration. You go up in frequency. The higher your vibration, the more easy it is to manifest solutions to problems, to improve your health, to be in synchronicity with life, to be in the right place at the right time. That's why things are so important. All right. Higher truth is a good thing, and we're not here to do. There are so many truths to come, and you're going to be so blown away when you realize how we're not alone and how powerful we really actually are. And that's what this year is about. So other things you need to know about this year is you need to make time for alone time. All right, especially those social people and those people that don't like silence and to be alone. Try and make peace with being alone without any devices or the distraction of any other things. No talking, no people, just try and be in your own quiet space. Try and be in nature if you possibly can. Make peace with alone time and quiet and solitude, because it's in that quiet time that the voice of the soul can be heard. When we're constantly moving around, when we're constantly doing, when we're constantly being distracted by devices or music all the time, or conversation or people or action, it's the voice of the soul, the higher self, gets squashed down and we don't really hear it. And that is our guidance. That's our inner navigational system that tells us what's right for us, that knows what's best for our greater good, that's directing us at all times. But we've squashed it down because we're so distracted, we're so busy, we're so noisy. All right. And this year is asking us to move away from that. All right. So go down the rabbit hole, explore alternative ways of living and being and exercise and If you're not already doing your sort of meditation and Qigong and yoga and you're open to those kinds of things, it's really a time to look at that sort of thing. Get back to the land, get healthy, and sort of, go down that rabbit hole and find your own truths and be there for people. So those that are already on this path, that are already awake and are already aware of what's going on in the world and all the crazy, be there for those that are starting to wake up, because a lot of people that are there we've got a lot of people that are on the edge. We've got a lot of people at the crossroads this year that are not awakened until this moment, and they're going to step across that boundary. They're going to step into our territory. They're going to start waking up. And some of them are going to be kind of shocked as to when they discover some truth. And you need to be there for them. You need to be there to hold their hand and go, hey, buddy, I know it's pretty crazy, when you first wake up. I remember when it happened to me and I realized what was going on. I was pretty shocked as well. But don't worry, we're going to help fast track you over onto the other side and into the light. So don't hold on to the anger. Don't hold on to the shock. Don't hold on to the fear. Don't hold on to the disgust and the sadness and the heartache when you realize some of the things, anyway, you know what I'm talking about, right? But we need to be there to hold the hands and guide those that are going to be awakening and get them through the process as soon as possible so they can maintain and gain that high vibration themselves, and they'll have you to lean on, all right? But one thing we cannot do with people that haven't woken up or that don't want to or that aren't ready or that are waking up and we told them we don't want any of this I told you so nonsense. All right, especially about certain truths as they're going to be exposed in the health sector. You know what I'm talking about. None of this, hey, I told you so, you should have listened to me. See, I was right, now the truth's all coming out on the world stage. None of this, I told you so. All right, that's low vibration. That's all ego. You just go, suck it up. You go, yep, no worries. I forgive you for what you thought of me and what you thought of all of this. I forgive you. Let's move forward and make this thing work. Let's get healthy together. Let's repair our relationships. Let's move together as a team in love and light. And you let it go. You forgive. All right, you forgive. And we move forward, because that's partly what this year is about. I'm really looking forward to it. Now, how it plays out will also depend on your own personal year number that we'll be going into working that out now. So with the personal year numbers, so let's have a little look here. So your personal year number is for 2023. So 2023 is a 7 year. So 7 universal years. So what we're going to do now, guys, we're going to calculate your personal year number for 2023. And you will keep that personal year number for the whole year, all right? So how we do this is we calculate it by adding the day and month of your birth date to number 7. And the reason we add it to number 7 is because 2023 is a 7, all right? Now, I'll use the day and the month of the birth date, the 28th of March, for an example. So we would add the 28th of March to 7, because 2023 is 7. So 28th of March is 2 plus 8 plus 3 is 13 plus 7 is 20. And then we add any double numbers together to get a single number between 1 and 9. So for 20, it's 2 plus 0 is 2. So that would be a 2 personal year number. So one more time, you're going to add the month and day of your birth date to number 7. Keep adding those numbers together until you eventually get a single number between 1 and 9. So if you add your birth day and month to number 7 and you end up with a double number, keep adding those double numbers together until you get a single number between 1 and 9. So just continue the process. If you add it together, you get a double number, add those two together. If you still get a double number, add those two together. And then you get a single number between 1 and 9, and that's your personal year number for the whole year. All right, the whole year. So I'm going to tell you now what your personal year number forecast is for the whole of 2023. And if you want, I've got a 2 for the price of 1 personality profile and 12-month forecast report. It's like a 30-odd page, depending on your numbers, how many pages it is, but it's anywhere between 28 and 30 pages of your complete numerology chart, all of your cycle numbers, your life purpose, your destiny, but also a 12-month by month forecast that you can keep and hold on to for the whole year. And these things are huge. They're so informative and so valuable. I have hundreds of people all around the world that order these each year religiously. They're normally $25 for one, but this month, this year, it's two for the price of one. So just email me for that information. I'll send it to you. All right, personal year number 1. You guys are in a year where this is a whole new beginning. All right, a whole new beginning for you. This will become more obvious as you move forward through the year. It's where you are being guided into a new way of thinking, a new way of perceiving yourself and your life, a new way of living, a new way of doing things. You know, some people in the 1 year can have literally new life-changing experiences. They can move town, they can move house, they can create a new relationship, they can, start a new job. And then other people can be in a 1 year and not really have any big major new changes, but they can sort of have a new mindset, a fresh way of looking at things. They might sort of have a problem, and for the first time in their life, they now see it from a totally different point of view. This problem they've had for many years, but in the 1 year, they see it from a different perspective, a new mindset. And that problem disintegrates just because of that shift in awareness, because that's how energy works. A problem is an energy, is just energy in material, physical form. When you shift your relationship towards that energy, then it can disintegrate. It can just move along, disappear. And that's what's so amazing about us being creative beings, and how it's all about how we think and feel and perceive things. So the 1 year is a good time to make a fresh start. It is a good year to try some new things. It is a good year to, dare to be different, dare to be yourself. It's about really believing in yourself and really getting to know yourself better than you have before. Backing yourself up, being your best friend, spending a lot of time going inward and really knowing yourself like the back of your hand, and being confident in yourself and not being afraid to be different, not being afraid to walk a path less traveled, to be a leader rather than a follower. It is a year that you might want to break away from the pack and do something of your own. It is also a year where you may want to step into more of a leadership role, take more control, get into the driver's seat of your life, be more independent and self-sufficient. All right, I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 2. You guys are in a year where slow and steady wins the race. Now, it's really important that you listen to me and really take that on board, because the 7 universal year is a much slower pace, asking you to slow down, slow yourself down, be more discerning, be more thinking about your actions before you take them. Slow down, trust the process. And the 2 is a very slow vibration also. So when you've got the 2 and 7 together, put it this way: if you do force things to happen because of your own impatience or your own willpower and ego, trying to push things along before their time, the results will not be very pleasant. So it's in your best interest to be patient, to trust. And that's saying let go and let God. To literally trust divine timing, to trust that, hey, I trust that what I'm meant to have or what is meant for me will come when it is meant to be here. Instead of I'm going to go out there and force things to happen before their time because that's what I want and I get what I want. None of this nonsense. That will just backfire on you and you will regret it. So you be patient and you trust in divine order and timing. So you may feel hypersensitive this year, more sensitive than you normally do, and that's okay. It's very normal. It's what's expected, because what the 2 year will do is it will amplify the emotions so that it's more clearer to you and more obvious to you what you really think and feel about certain problems or certain situations or even your own self-esteem, so that those emotions can be heightened so that you pay attention to the message they are trying to tell you, the things in the areas that need to be improved. So let's say, for example, your lack of self-love is amplified and you feel more insecure than you normally would, or more self-conscious. that's really good because it's amplifying a need that you need to work on that. So it's so loud and clear and obvious to you, you cannot not start working on it, because the two will amplify areas within you or situations or relationships or people or things where you need to work on them so that you can release them. It may also bring repressed emotions or emotions that haven't fully been expressed fully yet to the surface so that they can be acknowledged, expressed and felt and released, you see? So they can be released for good, and then you've got a nice, clean, empty vessel, a nice, clean slate, and a nice, empty vessel moving forward. Great time to get closer to people, to have those important bonding conversations or groups of people, deep and meaningful experiences. Some people that are single can meet someone special or have relationship experiences that will, or even lessons, not your forever, but your, some people will find their soulmates, but then our soulmates aren't necessarily meant to be with us forever. Everyone's soul contracts with partners are different. So some people can have beautiful relationships in the 2 years. Some people can have relationship issues and breakups, and some people can have, a series of people that come into their life. It just depends on where you're at with your own growth. But one thing's for certain, the more you love yourself, the more harmonious a relationship will be that you will attract, because you attract what you need to learn, not necessarily what you want. So be sure that you are focusing and working on what you need to learn and not having yourself learn it the hard way. Do it independently. Love yourself, make better decisions, raise your self-worth. Those sorts of things. Also, good year for you to work on expanding your intuitive abilities, any psychic development things or meditation, that kind of stuff, really important in a 2 year. And it's also important that you work on things behind the scenes, get yourself really strong from the inside out. This 2 year works beautifully with the 7 universal year that we're in. So I leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 3. You guys are in a year where, it's really important that you go out of your way to be happy. And it's saying, there is a saying, and it's something along the lines of happiness is, what is it? Happiness is a journey, not a destination. And really, I was saying this the other day to someone, like, I am a really happy person, but I've had to work on being a really happy person. I've always have a good sense of humor and been bubbly and friendly and like a joke and, like to see the funny side of life and pretty outgoing and all of that. But I used to always be very critical. I'm still quite critical about things. I'm always pulling myself up about my criticism. It's very easy for me to be critical sometimes, and I'm always pulling myself up about that. But in terms of happiness, I'm happy a lot, but that's because I really have to work at it. Like, it's a lot of work. I'm not going to lie. Like, it is a lot of work. Some days are harder than others. But it is about really working on that. And that 3 years giving you a chance to really develop those muscles. It's about learning to see the glass half full. It's about choosing to focus on what's right instead of what's wrong. It's about training yourself, that mental discipline of being able to see, the joy in life, the good in life, the good in people, the positive, or every cloud has a silver lining. That kind of mindset is what this 3 year is giving you the opportunity to develop those skills within yourself, because we attract what we believe. So we really need to believe in good things to attract good things, right? And that's what this is about. So remember, this is also a year of communication and self-expression. And everything we say, everything we communicate is an affirmation. So make sure that if you're going to be talking and saying things, that you're saying what's right, what's good. You're saying positive affirmations about the good of what could be, as opposed to moaning, whining, complaining, gossiping, lying, all of those negative ways to express communication, because it's all an affirmation and you're creating it, you're attracting it. This 3 years about being more social, getting out and about, having a bit more confidence, being a bit more of a mover and a shaker, putting yourself out a bit. It's about expressing yourself. So if you want to do some writing, some journaling, if you want to do some dancing, if you want to do some, exercise classes, express yourself physically by doing physical things, or creatively, cooking, gardening, anything, jewelry making, mandalas, coloring in or creating mandalas. It could be anything, expressing yourself. It's also about speaking your truth and having the courage to be your true, authentic self, and not holding back what you really think and feel and compromising who you really are because you're too afraid to be your authentic truth self. So it's about being your true self, speaking your truth, being honest as you possibly can. And it's also a time about cheering other people up, finding the humor in life. Now, there can be a lot happening in a 3-year where you have to work harder to be organized. So you want to, write things down if you're forgetful. Be extra disciplined and focused. Make sure you get things done. Don't leave projects half finished here, there, and everywhere. It's a year where you can be easily distracted. So you literally have to learn to try and focus and concentrate a lot more. So I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 4. You guys are in a year where, it's about building a solid foundation in your life. So working on creating a solid foundation. Now, that solid foundation this year can be beginning with a solid foundation from within, kind of like what I was saying in the introduction for the 7 universal year number that affects every single one of us, and doing that work on your inner self. Building a strong, healthy you, a strong a strong mental health foundation, a strong emotional health foundation, by not putting yourself in situations where you're having high highs and low lows, and you're with scattered people where it's all over the show, and you create that balance and harmony and that stability, financial stability. Don't overspend, don't overcommit yourself financially, because then you'll be up and down and all over the show, and that's not cool. That's not fun. The 4-year, again, building a foundation in your career. Some people, it can be, taking steps to advance their career, learning more, trying a different type of career path, saving your money, not overspending, not wasting money on certain things that you don't need. It's a hard-working year. You do have to be slow and steady wins the race. Sometimes when I'm talking about the 4-year, I describe it as you want to go for a run, but you're wearing concrete boots. So your willpower, your desire is to go running, but you're wearing these heavy concrete boots, and you have no choice but to slow down. And it's almost like that. So it's about, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, but keep chomping away, keep chipping away, because, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. Put your head down, your bum up, and chip, chip, chip away. And before you know it, at the end of the year, it would have been a very productive year where you would have had some really good results. But to get those results, you need to be persistent. You need to be consistent. You need to be dedicated. You need to be determined. You have fortitude. And you can't sway from the path. You have to keep it up. And so there's your challenge this year. Patience, persistence, all right, and the right positive attitude. I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 5. You guys are in a year of progress, movement, and change. So this is a year where anything can happen, and it usually does. So this is a year where things can come from left field that you didn't see coming. It's kind of like that, what the hell? I had no idea that was going to happen. Wow. And that can be in a really positive way. So it can be really exciting. I can't believe that just happened to me. Wow, kind of things. But it can also be on the challenging side of things too. Wow, I had no idea that that carpet was going to be pulled out from under me. I had no idea that was going to happen. I didn't see that one coming. And it can be challenging for some people. But here's the thing. This is what you need to be in the 5-year, whether it's positive or it's challenging. Always be flexible and adaptable, and roll with the punches. All right? The more adaptable you are, the more you can pivot. Oh, I didn't see that coming. Let's adjust. Move and adjust as quick as you can. Don't hold on to and dig your stubborn toes into things you can't change. Be flexible. Be adaptable. as fast and easy as you can, you will move through that transition much more quickly, and you'll maintain a higher vibration with the right attitude. It is what it is sometimes. And you say, it is what it is, I will adapt. It is what it is. There's a reason for it, and there's going to be a positive outcome. I choose to believe that this will all work out in my favor. It's all about your attitude. It's about how quickly you can move with the changes. It's about how positive that attitude is, where you say everything has an opportunity. There's an opportunity in here for somewhere, and you adapt. You don't, bang your head against a brick wall, moaning, complaining, trying to doing anything dodgy to try and buck the system. You just roll with it and go, I'll find a way through. This is going to be a blessing for me. It's a great vibration or year for you to make any changes. So if there's changes you want to be making, this is a year to do it. If you wanted to shift jobs, if you wanted to move house, if you wanted to change your lifestyle around, this is a year of change. And some change, is forced upon you. You have no choice, and you have to kind of make the changes because you've got no choice. Other changes are where you have a say. And so therefore, that's why it's good if there's changes you need to make or you want to make, that you actually be proactive and get in the driver's seat of those changes and do them consciously and deliberately yourself, rather than know that there are changes that need to be made and sweeping them under the carpet, and then the universe makes those changes for you in an unexpected and highly inconvenient way. We don't want that. No one wants any extra work on their plate. So that's why the incentive is to be proactive and make those changes yourself. It's a progressive energy, so it's about new ways and new and improved ways of doing things and being and moving with the times. And travel is great, adventure is great, trying new things, meeting new people, a new quest for life. You're going to new zest for life. You're going to feel like you might feel itchy feet. You might get bored of the same old this year. I've got people or clients that have been in 5 years, and they might have been in the same job, doing the same thing or in the same lifestyle for years, and been happy, complete, and content in that sameness until the 5-year rocks around, and boom, out of nowhere, they're a completely different person. And they're like, oh, I don't like that anymore. That's boring. I want to go over here and do something completely new. So be aware. If you're in a 5-year, that could happen to you, or people in a 5-year, it could happen to them. So be aware and stay on your toes and find it exciting and adventurous. The 5-year is going to give you an opportunity to create freedom in your life, whether that freedom is having the ability to release your fears and be free from fear. The freedom of fear, honestly, is the highest, freaking most awesomest freedom you can ever have. I reckon freedom from fear, number one on my hit list. Awesome. Financial freedom would be up there as well. That'd be cool. But to be honest with you, freedom from fear is number one over even financial freedom for me, for sure. So I'll leave that with you, and I wish you a wonderful year. Let's move on now to personal year number 6. You guys are in a year where, it's about giving you an opportunity to improve the relationships in your life. So first and foremost, your relationship with yourself. So it is a year to focus on your health, to focus on your self-care, to focus on making sure that you have solid boundaries in place, that you don't drain yourself too much, and that you make time for yourself to fill your cup, to revitalize your soul, to get what you need to be in balance. All right. Secondly, it is a year to work on the relationships with others. So relationship issues that may have been brewing beneath the surface with either friendships or partners or work colleagues or family members or neighbors or people in a community group, issues that have been brewing beneath the surface may rise to be resolved in the 6th year so that it can come to the surface, can be discussed. People can either part ways, or resolutions can be obtained, or a new opportunity to communicate what you're thinking and feeling so that people can share their truths, and relationships can either be improved or part ways. It's also a vibration where people can meet someone new if you're single, but it is a time to look at, being a bit more responsible as well. It is an energy of responsibility. And so that can also mean being responsible for other people. So children, parents, people that may need you, friends that might need you as a shoulder to cry on. You might need to help out sick relatives or take care of people that may need you. Put yourself out a bit. It is a year where you are being encouraged to think of being a selfless servant. So being there to help people without expecting anything in return, to just be more compassionate, to be more understanding, a shoulder to cry on, an ear to listen to people as they sort of share their thoughts and feelings and their problems, but to be that helping hand in the community and family and relationships. And it's great vibration if you're working in an area of being of service to the community and other people. It's also a good year for people that if you wanted to study or learn something that's being of service to others, it's a great energy for that as well. So focus on love being an important part of your life. Unconditional love, being responsible, taking your responsibilities seriously, not sweeping things under the carpet and being reckless and irresponsible, and know that you may have to put yourself out a bit and be there when you're needed and take that responsibility seriously and do it selflessly without expecting anything in return. So I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 7. Well, you guys really just need to listen to the universal year number description again, because that's really exactly what it is. You get a double dose of that, because the 7 personal year is the 7 universal year. It's just that it's amplified because your personal year is your universal year number. So if you go back to the introduction and listen to everything I said in depth, you will find it there. It really just is about you working on your spiritual self, you connecting, you establishing or developing or solidifying or beginning, whatever stage you're at, your relationship to source energy. It needs to be first and foremost at the bottom of everything. It's your foundation. It's about you focusing on your health and well-being. It's about you focus on your personal development, studying, learning, spending quiet time alone, all of those things. So go back, listen to the universal year forecast, because it's really in depth. It's like 27 minutes long. All right. And you can check that out. So I'll move on now to personal year number 8. You guys are in a year of manifestation. So the first thing you need to know about this year, if you're in an 8 year, is that you are a powerful creative being, and you need to understand the intricate details of the law of attraction and start using them to your advantage and understanding other universal laws. Now, one of the best ways you can do that is you can get hold of a couple of books, one of which is called Quantum Success by Sandra Ann Taylor, Quantum Success. Another book is called Frequency by a lady called Penny Pierce. Penny Pierce, Penney, and Pierce is Peirce, Frequency. Any of the Abraham Hicks material on the law of attraction, you can even go to YouTube and look up Abraham Hicks for law of attraction. For those that are beginners to the path, you might want to watch the movie The Secret or read The Secret, but there's a lot more that you need to know about the process than just The Secret. You've got your Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill for those that like the old school information. Then you've got your Bruce Lipton. God, Jesus, where is it? I've got it there. I'll come back to that because I've forgotten what it's called. I've just lost my train of thought. But with Bruce Lipton, you've got the scientific, the scientific foundation in applied quantum physics and the scientific explanation of the process of the law of attraction. And then you've got your books like your, God, I'm just looking at all my books here, and I've got so many different manifestation, law of attraction books. You've got your Wayne Dyer, Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. You've got Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, and looking at manifestation through health, the biology of belief. There it is. That's the Bruce Lipton book, The Biology of Belief. But Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life, if you're looking at the law of attraction manifestation process on a health angle. Just know the universal laws like the back of your hand, okay? The 8 year is also about knowing that you might want to make certain career changes, or there may be things going on at work. Some people will earn money, some people will lose money. You just have to know money comes, money goes. I always end up on top. So you have the affirmation, money comes, money goes. It always works out. Money comes, money goes. I always end up on top. Or I attract money from many different sources, or the universe is abundant and I always have what I need. Don't overspend, budget your finances, have a positive mindset. It is the number of karma, so it is heavily governed by the law of cause and effect. So be honest, have integrity in everything you do. What you get out, what you put out, you get back. All right, what you sow, you reap. So make sure that what you're sowing is good stuff, because, you're going to get it back. So just know that you be good, be honest, work hard, cross your T's, dot your I's, be a good person, save your money, be looking at ways you can expand or change or develop your career, and personal power issues, allowing yourself to not become disempowered by anything or anyone, and standing your ground, being courageous, self-confident, and not disempowering others either. So I'll leave that with you, and I'll move on now to personal year number 9. You guys are in the final year of this 9-year cycle. It is the last year of the 9-year block of personal year numbers, and it means endings, completion, and transformation. Out with the old to make way for the new. So this is the last year of the 9-year block, where it's giving you an opportunity to really become the best you can be by the end of the year. So it literally is about transformation. It's about moving from the chrysalis to the butterfly. And by the end of this year, you should feel a hell of a lot better about yourself. Now, some people will have some major lessons to go through. We all do, no matter what year we're in, because we all signed up to be here. And if we all signed up to be here, especially at these days and times, we've all got big lessons to learn, regardless of how spiritual, how evolved we are, how positive we are, how good a person we are. There's always shit to go through, and it never ends, all right? It's all about our attitude, though, and we're always a work in progress, and there's always more growth to be had, even on the other side, when we've left this physical world and this particular life and this embodiment. It never ends. The soul is always craving growth. The soul is very ambitious. It always wants to develop, learn, and grow, and that's why we're here. And so in the 9-year, it gives you an opportunity to really come along leaps and bounds with your growth. But it is an ending vibration. So it's about winding down and sort of backing away from bad habits, moving away from things that no longer serve you, that you've grown out of, whether it's a lifestyle or lifestyle habits or people or a job or just a whole way of living or being. It's about moving away from what you've grown out of. It's about leaving things behind, out with the old to make way for the new, preparing for new beginnings to come, fine-tuning yourself. It can be a payoff year, where everything you've been chipping away and working on can finally pay off. If you've got the right positive attitude, if you bounce back from setbacks, if you have the right see the glass half full and you forgive, you roll with the punches of life, you still see the silver lining in every cloud, you work hard, you're honest, you have integrity, you have a strong spiritual practice, you keep your body, mind, and soul healthy, you really can live an amazing life, especially in this year. It's one of my favorite years, the 9-year, although some people will say, oh, the 9-year, and they're all afraid. Oh, God, that's silly. Don't be afraid. It's a bloody awesome year. Both of my 9 years in the last 18 years were freaking amazing. Yes, some of them, there were big challenges as well, but they were just... I'm so grateful for them. So you have that same mindset as well. It will be the making of you. Make it an amazing year. Make it the payoff year. You say everything that I've been trying to attract in my life is here for me. I just have to believe it's there. And watch some inspiring Law of Attraction videos on YouTube. Learn about Abraham Hicks and listen to what Abraham teaches with the manifestation process so that you can attract those things that you want. So out with the old to make way for the new in preparation for new beginnings for you next year. Be brave, be strong, and make the world your oyster, because it is. So I'll leave that with you, everybody, and I wish you a fantastic 7 universal year of 2023. And I will talk to you on the 1st of February with your forecast for the month. Love and blessings. Bye.